What's up, Sooner fans? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. Don't forget to click subscribe. We've been gaining some ground with some subscribers. That's because you guys have clicked the button. You guys are an integral part of what's going on here at the Sooner Surge community and family. So make sure you're a part of it. Enable those notifications, like and comment on these videos. It's a big week. It's OU Texas week. And today we're going to talk about DimeTime. Dillon Gabriel. We're going to compare those stats from last year to this year. He's been much better. Let's put those numbers up because numbers don't lie very often, Hunter.
Yeah, Dillon Gabriel, there was all the talk in the offseason. He needed to take steps to improve. He has done that so far. He's playing the best football of his career right now. Last night was one of the best performances I have seen from Dillon Gabriel. He's playing with an edge. There's something different about Dillon Gabriel. You know, all those Oklahoma great quarterbacks have just something about them that, makes them great. Dillon Gabriel's starting to play with an edge. He trucked the dude into the end zone, let the defender know, kind of like that Baker Mayfield type of deal. So last year, through 5 games, his numbers were pretty solid statistically. This is really through 4.5 games, as many of you remember the dirty hit on Dillon Gabriel in the TCU game. That was game 5. So some of the numbers are a little bit lower because he didn't get to finish out that game. But 85 for 133, 1,215 yards passing, 11 passing touchdowns, 0 interception, and then 2 touchdowns on the ground. So last year at this time, with those stats, Oklahoma was 3-2. Started off the season 3-0, cakewalk through the non-conference schedule, and then Kansas State shows up for a primetime game, and they couldn't do it. The offense could not get the job done. The defense was awful last year, gave up 38 points to Adrian Martinez, could not stop him when it mattered most. He ran for, I don't even want to look up how many yards rushing he had that game. It was embarrassing. And then that blowout loss to TCU. So a lot of similarities somewhat in the stat lines, as you'll see in a minute. But Dillon Gabriel's taking those steps to improve this season.
Yeah, those numbers right there on the screen, guys. That's actually good numbers. That and even last year, Sooner fans would say the numbers weren't horrible. You got 11 passing touchdowns, you got no interceptions, you got 2 rushing touchdowns. That's 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But clearly across the board, Sooner fans weren't thrilled with what DG was giving him, and I'll tell you why. The third down conversions last year were horrible. Last year, OU's third down efficiency on offense was atrocious, and that is in large part to where Dillon Gabriel did not make the throws and maybe even the right reads on third down. He does have an edge this year, Hunter. It's clearly noticeable. One thing that has changed is he's got someone in his back pocket that's right behind him pushing him. I think that's made a difference, a monumental difference that we won't see, but that is clearly happening with Jackson Arnold being right behind him. I think that's a big difference. You look at third down efficiency this year, night and day difference. He's making better progressions. He's actually getting his head on a swivel a little bit last night. He had his head moving around. He looked off receivers, and he's taking chances. He's giving the receivers chances to make plays, and guess what? They're making them.
Yeah, as of right now, OU 6th in the country in third down percentage at 55%. So much improved. The ability to have a quarterback run game this year with Dillon Gabriel is making a big difference. You have Jackson Arnold, like we've mentioned, as the backup. Last year, the backup was Davis Bevel. We all saw what happened once Dillon Gabriel went out. Oklahoma, they might have scored. They scored a couple, I think a touchdown or 2 against TCU without DG, and then 49-0 shutout loss to Texas and Dallas. So the drop-off was very noticeable, and that is, they couldn't run it with Dillon Gabriel. They couldn't afford for him to get hurt this season. You have a backup. Obviously, you don't want him getting hurt, but you can open up some things. Last night, there was a few, I think it was a 4th down conversion where he kept it, picked up the first down because, I mean, defenses are going to think, like, I think it was Tawee Walker in on that play. Tawee Walker is going to get it up the middle. No, DG kept it, picked up the first down, made some contact. And then on the keeper in the end zone, like, I mean, DG ran right at him and wasn't going down. Against
Yeah.
Cincinnati, same thing. He ran right at the defender, kept his legs moving, got into the end zone. So transitioning to this year's stats through 5 games, they're much, much better. Last year's stats were pretty good statistically. Speaking through 5 games this year, it's a lot better. 118 for 157, 1,593 yards passing, 15 passing touchdowns. Does have the 2 interceptions, but he's taken a little bit more chances. That's always been my knock on DG, as his touchdown to interception ratio was always so great at UCF, at OU last year, because there wasn't a lot of chances taken on those 50-50 balls, never really putting the receiver, giving them the opportunity to make that big play. This year, DG's doing it. He threw the interception. He threw first one. It was a jump ball to Gavin Freeman. It happens. He's putting his trust in Gavin Freeman to make the play. The interception last night, a lot of miscommunication there. DG was letting Jaleel Farouk know that he was very unhappy. Like, I thought, okay, he's going to stop at this point, and he's still going as it's transitioning into the TV timeout at the game last night.
And that, to me, is a clear indication. Dillon Gabriel's locked in. He's focused. He knows exactly what route is supposed to be run. And if you go watch the replay, I know you were at the game, Hunter, probably had a different viewpoint, but they showed the replay a couple times on Fox Sports 1, FS1, and it was clear if Farouk just breaks off that route that Dillon Gabriel thought he was going to, the DB would have had to go through him, and it would have been interference. And honestly, the Gavin Freeman interception jump ball could have easily been called interference. So, yeah, he's putting the ball. He's making better decisions. You got 19 TDs versus 2 interceptions. And like we said, those interceptions could have an asterisk by him. So his numbers are definitely improved. And what I like about the quarterback run game, Hunter, is it's not only the zone read. I was last night calling. I said, if Gabriel pulls a couple of these out, he's going to be able to run for a while. And he did on the 4th down call. I think you're going to see more of that next week against Texas. I think you're going to see more of a 2 running back set against Texas. But one thing they're doing is they did not run the QB run play that they've been running often in the red zone this year, with Marcus Major leading the way or Tawee Walker as run blockers. And if you noticed, one of the touchdowns last night, Dillon Gabriel looked up. He was about to throw the ball to Marcus Major. There is going to be a trickery in that set, in that formation. He almost pulled the trigger last night. Texas has to look at it. But, yeah, the aggression that you're seeing from him, maybe the best throw last night, Hunter, was the one to Gibson that he ended up making a house call. Dillon Gabriel, go watch the replay. He is inside the pocket amongst the trees of the O-lines. I don't know how he even saw Gibson. He threw it over a backer. It had to be a dime, and that's why he's called DimeTime. He put a dime there, and Gibson did the rest. So, again, I don't think Gabriel makes that throw last year. I think he's so much more confident this year.
Yeah, last year he probably wouldn't have. There was a lot of missed throws last year. There's been a few this year, but overall, Dillon Gabriel's taken a big step. He had that deep ball touchdown to Nick Anderson. That was on the money. I mean, it was right in the breadbasket. Nick Anderson, back of the end zone, 41-yard touchdown pass, I believe. So last night connected on a few deep balls. He had Brennan Thompson kind of underthrew him there, but that's his first. I think that was his first career snap at OU for Brennan Thompson. Fastest player on the team, and it's not even close. It's going to take some getting used to for DG to time up that deep ball connection with a guy that's just that much faster than any other receiver you have.
Yeah, and hey, you're looking at 2 guys who have been very, very critical of Dillon Gabriel here. We're not trying to just pump him up because he's an OU football player and we're OU fans. We've been critical, but I would say you can't argue with the stats this year. You can't argue with the performance. Now, I will be saying this. I want to see this against Texas. I want to see this against elite competition. Iowa State, number 1, Big 12, hadn't allowed a 300-yard passer since November of 2021. Dillon Gabriel breaks that streak. That's a big streak to be broken, but I want to see it next week in the Cotton Bowl. He did last night miss Nick Anderson waving his hands wide open in the back of the end zone and one. He didn't see him there. So obviously there's some things he can do better, but he's going to get to the tape. He's going to watch the film, and I expect to see a great Dillon Gabriel next week in Texas.
Yeah, I think last night's game is exactly what Dillon Gabriel and the offense needed as they're prepping for Texas now this Saturday in Dallas. The week before against Cincinnati, the offense had a lot of execution issues. Plays were there. They just couldn't execute on them. They were able to execute. They put up 50 points on Iowa State, 40 in the first half. And Dillon Gabriel, that edge, that's really just still sticking out to me as that edge he was playing with. He had some moxie last night. He was just confident. I've said it a lot. DG's confident. I like OU's chances. Last night he was confident. So if he can keep that same confidence heading into Dallas, I think we might be having a fun weekend.
For sure. And here's the deal. Final say here is he's got an opportunity, Hunter. If he was to go in the Cotton Bowl and throw for 380, 4 TDs, no interceptions, you cannot leave him off consideration for the Heisman Trophy with the stats that he's putting up after the Texas week. If that were to happen, he could be very well on his way to New York, and this team would very well be maybe a favorite to make the college football playoff. And to hear that coming from my mouth from last year at this time when a lot of people would say DG can't get them there, he's got an opportunity this week to make that happen. And I'm hoping he does for a great week in the Red River rivalry. Dallas, Texas, State Fair. It's all here, guys. Be a part of it. We will be dropping content like it's hot all week on the Sooner Surge. Go ahead and subscribe. Tell your friends. Be a part of it. It's going to be a fun week. It's a little after 1 o'clock probably on a Sunday, maybe 2 o'clock. I don't even know what time it is. Texas still sucks. Till next time, Boomer.